just a heads up, a little language warning for everyone about to listen. You know who the fuck it is. It's the Allies Behind Enemy Lines coming at you on this victory fucking Tuesday after whooping that Steelers ass, coming at you hard and fast, ready to celebrate this victory that we had yesterday. I'm so juiced. I'm so pumped. That air has never been so crisp. Those birds, that song they were singing today was so beautiful. Everything is just, lights are vibrant. I can see it all. I can feel it all. I hear it all. What an absolute victory yesterday by the Washington football team, going and just whooping that Pittsburgh ass. Wasn't pretty to start off with, but that doesn't matter. It's that clock hits quadruple zeros, triple zeros, whatever you want to say. And that's what happened. Joey, how are you feeling today, my dude?
To say right before this, man, what a freaking win. What a freaking feeling. I literally was on the floor flailing like a child, on my hard floor, flailing like a child when we got that interception. You know, funny thing, you know, as Montez Sweat got that interception, for those who know you know, follow me on social media and whatnot, know that Montez Sweat, you know, my kids wear his jersey. They're quote unquote his favorite. He's their favorite player. And my daughter had just gone to bed right before that last drive, and she was crying to come up. And so she got up, you know, and she was wearing her Montez Sweat jersey when she got up. And I was like, she's here for this last drive. I was like, we need Montez Sweat to do something right now. And it was right before that last defensive stand where he tipped that pass. And I swear, once he did it and Jeff Bostic intercepted that, I fell on the ground. And she was laughing because I was flailing like a baby. I could not believe that we had just done that and where we were, and what position we were in right there. I was ecstatic. It took hours. I woke up thinking it was a dream this morning. You know, it took hours for that to sink in, that we actually went out there and did it. And like we talked about before, and as I said, you know, this is our biggest win since RG3 beat those Cowboys that year. I have not felt so excited in such a long time.
Yeah, it was huge. It was great. Obviously, kind of unexpected, to be honest. I mean, I even text you right before it went 14-14, and I was like, I've seen this movie time and time again. I said, I can tell when this team is about to lose, and I said, we are about to get smacked. And you even replied, oh yeah, because I mean, we couldn't stop a nosebleed. I mean, they were just moving the ball, no problem. We couldn't get anything going on offense. And just before they went up 14-0, I was like, yeah, this is going to get ugly real quick. And, you know, we were able to get a little field goal there at right before the half to make it 14-3. And then, like you said, the defense kind of came alive. The defense, I mean, numerous fourth and 1 at the goal line. And Chase Young comes up with a big tackle, I should say, a big tackle of Benny Snell, just stuffing him right at the goal line. And you could just feel, I mean, the biggest thing too, you know, Antonio Gibson going down early, you're thinking, oh man, there goes down one of our playmakers. Steven Sims drops a sure first down where he looks like he's about to go for about 30 yards after he catches a slant. Terry McLaurin had an uncharacteristic drop. And so things were just snowballing, and not in the good way. And you're like, oh man, this is not looking good early. And then a flip just switched, or switch flipped, whatever it is that you want to say. And it was a totally different ball game. And it's crazy when we're slowly chipping away yesterday. I haven't felt that confident that, like, hey, we might do this. Logan Thomas looks fantastic the last couple weeks. He's really come on. But the common denominator for me, and you're going to laugh at me, you've been on it since the beginning, and I got to tip my hat to you, but it's our quarterback that's manning the position right now, Alex Smith. I mean, he doesn't have a prolific game. He throws for just under 300 yards, 296 with a touchdown, 31 of 46, but he's not going to get us into trouble. What always happened with Kirk Cousins? He'd throw that late back-breaking interception every single time and time again. Well, guess what? Alex Smith isn't going to do that. Kirk Cousins might, you know, take some shots downfield, might complete them, and Alex Smith might not do that as much, but he's not going to give you that back-breaking interception. You think back 2 or 3 years ago, maybe it was 4 years ago now, when we need to beat the Giants to get into the playoffs, and Kirk Cousins just throws an ugly pick. I mean, I'm not expecting that anymore with Alex Smith back there. I was hesitant. I wasn't up for him being our quarterback right away, but I am all in on him. I was all in last week, but this just like cemented my fandom and my how I feel about him being back there. And it was a great second half.
It was a great second half, and with just so many standout performances that I'm sure we're going to get into here.
Oh yeah.
But as you said, Alex Smith, the story, his story, I mean, like he just the fight for him to come back, and once you hear it of him about his kids, for those who all of us who watched the documentary, and I think that's just his story, and just having his presence on that field is just it's got to be something added on to the rest of the players to say, look at this guy, we're watching a great story unfold before our very eyes. And not to mention, he's out here not just being here, he's out here leading us to winning games, competing and winning games against teams we're not supposed to beat, and and so like you said, Alex Smith is the story is just, sometimes these stories just write themselves, and that was something that I talked about so early in this season, and and the story is writing itself, and Ron Rivera, what he's done, what he's been through. To watch the team, surround around him. We're seeing a lot of this stuff finally come to fruition. The team aspect. You talked about it. Our two biggest players, Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin. If you would have shown me in my fantasy lineup that both of them would have 1 point at the end of the game, and we were going to win, I would have laughed my ass off at you. I'd say, well, who scored? Who scored our points then? But Cam Sims. The guy that we've both been on, I know you were on him early a couple of years ago, and I've been on him as we've seen him progress throughout this year, on special teams especially, but he should solidify himself as a number 2 wide receiver right now. He was that game. He got the game ball. I don't know if you saw the game ball presentation video. He got that game ball, but that catch before halftime, you skipped over really quick, but that 3 points we got right there, that was huge. That catch and run he made, not to mention on the first drive of the second half, when we were down, it was third and 17 or 15, and they threw that little wide receiver screen to him, and he mauled through that, through those people. That was nothing but sheer determination on both of those plays to be great and to do something for my team. So my hat's off to him for. Not to mention, the cherry on the top, that one-handed grab, to get us into field goal range. That was just. That's the kind of plays that turn seasons around, and that's the kind of plays that, that make franchise, that make players. One catch made Odell Beckham, that's the kind of, catches that make players. So all the way around the ball, you talked about it as well. The goal line stands. The play of the defense. I'm gonna tell you right now, I think we definitely have the best goal line defense in the NFL. I'm gonna say in the NFL. You take off that back half part and just have that front part against the front part. We're gonna beat your front part. Especially in that position. As a couple of weeks ago, we had the same type of situation. I think it was against the Bengals, might have been, where we just straight out flat, or no, against the Cowboys too. After the Jalen Smith interception, I call it dropping the mall gates. When you shut the mall gates down, you ain't getting in that store. You know what I mean? That mall gates are final. That defense dropped those mall gates on that end zone line. We're not letting anybody in there. So it was just beauty to watch, and the excitement that you see out of, I think I retweeted it this morning about Chase Young when Cam Sims made that one hit. You saw the first one running down the sideline. Chase Young showing that
like
4.4
40
speed.
yards.
Exactly. And his face, too. It looked like he could have been a 10-year-old. He could have been a 10-year-old running down there. And Ryan Kerrigan standing there, a vet, as you see when young meets old, right there to be the first ones to congratulate, this young guy that, everyone's, they talked about it, one of those, what they say, training camp heroes that the team's been rooting for that finally gets a seat on the field. So I know I can go on for hours, but this game was insane. This game was just great to see so many great parts of this team to come together as one and knock off an undefeated team.
Absolutely. I know the last couple of weeks everyone had kind of been talking, hey, are the Steelers really this good? Are they really an 11-0 team, or they just had an easy ride? And I said, hey, look, good teams find a way to win ball games. They've done that. You play who you play, and they up to yesterday had won every game, whether that's good, bad, indifferent, whether it's against bad teams, good teams, whatever it was. But what you mentioned about the Chase Young, the whole culture, the whole vibe on that sidelines is nothing like we've seen probably since RG3 and his electricity that he brought when we were, what was it, 2-7 or whatever, and came back and won the division. That's the last time we saw some electricity like this. And it's coming from everybody, like you said, the young guys, the vets. Chase Young, he's 13 weeks into his NFL career, and he's a bona fide leader on that team too. Obviously Terry McLaurin, he's the captain now. He's one of the captains.
The captain. That's his nickname now. Just that's what he wants to be called.
Oh, I know. I know. I said it. Put some respect on the captain, baby. That's what I'm saying. He's a superstar, and then we have guys like you said, like Ryan Kerrigan, like Alex Smith that just kind of, Alex Smith obviously doing it in a much more forward-facing fashion of leading this team. But in Ron Rivera's press conference today, he said it was kind of funny that this game happened when it did yesterday on a Tuesday of all days, because he said it was a year to the day that he and Dan Snyder first spoke about him taking over this job, because he had just gotten fired from Carolina not too long ago, and they'd already began conversations. And he said the very first conversation we had was about culture and changing the culture of this football team and this organization. And by golly, has he done that. Him and Jason Wright combined have really flipped this culture. Jason Wright taking care of the front office, Ron Rivera taking care of what's going on the field. And I mean, when you have guys like Dwayne Haskins, who seemed like he was shunned, from the team. No, they didn't want anything to do with him. He's tweeting out every week. He's over there picking up his guys. He's juiced. He's ready to go. A guy that lost his job. He was the starter. He got benched. He got yanked. He's still ready to go. Ryan Kerrigan, he was pissed off at the trade deadline, wanted to get traded because he wasn't getting enough snaps. Now he's back in it. It's great to see. You don't see it a whole lot. With this organization, we haven't seen it, like I said, I think in a very long time. And I think that's the biggest difference. You go back to the Santana Moss days. If Santana Moss doesn't have a good game like Terry McLaurin did yesterday, we don't win that ball game. But there's other guys now that are able to pick up the slack. Logan Thomas, huge. I can't mention him enough how great of a game he had and how great he's been the last couple of weeks. Cam Sims, like you said, yesterday. Antonio Gibson, he goes out injured. J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber come in. They pick up the slack, no problem. I mean, it's just guys are willing to get each other's backs. Guys are willing to get in there, get in the mix, and fight for each other. You mentioned, if you told me that Antonio Gibson and Terry McLaurin, have their bad games and we still win, you're like, yeah, right. You laugh at their face. Well, let me add 0 sacks to that too. They both have 1 point in fantasy and we have 0 sacks and we still win a ball game. I'd say no chance in hell. But guess what? We did it. We found a way. And it's because when it came to gut check time, when it came to to get the job done, they absolutely did. And I'm telling you, like anybody that's been a Washington fan for any time now, we don't win games like this. We never win games like this. We go out and get blasted 45-10 on games like this. And that's what I was ready for. I was ready for it. I was ready to go on a 24-hour hiatus from Twitter, from Sports Center, from, NFL, Good Morning NFL or whatever, Good Morning Football. Like, I was ready to go on a 24-hour hiatus because they were just going to talk about the Steelers rolling and how Washington, just got flattened. I was ready for it. But guess what? Today, first thing in the morning, bam, I'm turning that on. I'm scrolling Twitter yesterday all day, retweeting, liking all the hype tweets. I mean, it's just crazy. Like you said, I can't remember the last time I felt like this. Had to have been the RG3 electricity, and it's a good feeling to have. The sky's the limit. Obviously, we still have an uphill battle with the Giants still being in first place with the tiebreaker, but nonetheless, this thing's rolling in the right direction, and I couldn't be happier of how it's going.
And I'm glad you closed with that there. Exactly what I was thinking. It's such a great feeling that we're all in right now, but it's time to get back to business. It's time to get back to business and what's next, and obviously, you have to take pride and feel good about the small goals on the way to the larger goal. But the next larger goal is to win this division, so we have to definitely make sure we shift our focus there. Now, I know, I'm going to think for a lot of Washington fans, because I know I'm one of them. I've been one for a long time, and I know how we think. So I know, let's go take us back to Sunday. As soon as we saw the Giants win that game, we're like, and when in a lot of our minds, we're losing this game. We thought we'd all lose this weekend, and now we're done. Dismal start. We're already in this dismal mood. We still have some hopes for for the Monday night game, but we're in a dismal mood right there. Now at the Monday game, dismal, especially when we're down 14-0. We all of us been there before. This is going to turn in, like you said, one of these 45-10, stories. We start feeling terrible again, where we start doubting our team. Then, as we all felt, it's magically, like you said, winning the small battles gets us back into the game, and we go up 2017. As a Washington fan, looking at that clock with 2 minutes and 4 seconds, what's going through your mind? We've been here before.
We're going to give up a big play. Yeah,
we're going to give up a big play. We've been here before. We give up these games more than anybody else, I think. We're not the cardiac kids for the last, I don't know how many games we lost like that. It's just, I know a lot. Enough to, it makes me think like that. But as a fan, we get there. Now we're in a spot where we don't even know what to do with ourselves, And as those players, they have to know what to do. They have to know to move forward, and coming up with a San Francisco team, not to get too far into the preview show, and the Giants coming into who do they play? The Ravens? Or no, Cardinals. They play Cardinals. Both teams, both very difficult teams and teams that are both vying for playoff spots as well. So their podcasts, their fans are saying the same things we're saying right now. We gotta win, go out there and take out this this NFC East. They're not, blah blah blah. They think they're all high and mighty. They're gonna have a come down with us, a reality check. So we definitely got to make sure that as we move forward. I think I saw someone tweet it the day before. It's like you don't have to worry about what the other team is doing if you're doing your job. And we have to do our job. And our job is, the 49ers, focusing on that team, what we can do. They're not going to have all their pieces still. George Kittle's not going to be back yet. Garoppolo's not back yet. They're still banged up a little bit on defense, even though that defense is still playing good ball for those who watched the game last night, against the Bills. They did, in the first half, they definitely played some good ball. But we definitely have to just do the same things we can do. Wait for the report on Antonio Gibson and see what we can do on that position moving forward.
Yeah, that's going to be, everyone's kind of waiting with bated breath on that one, obviously, with Antonio Gibson. But, I think we have a good combination. We lose the ability to use Antonio Gibson running and passing. He's that dynamic back right now for us. But on the flip side, we have a running back in Peyton Barber, and we have a very good receiving back in J.D. McKissic. So while it may become a little bit, kind of tipping your hand if Peyton Barber's in there, he's going to run. Short yardage situations, Peyton, they're going to give it to him. He's going to plow ahead. Passing situations, J.D. McKissic's going to be down there for the check down. And, so we don't, maybe not that versatility, but we still have those pieces that we can use in our offense, the things that have been working for us thus far. And we still have those things. Like I said, just guys filling in spots. I forget who was on the call yesterday, who were the commentators, but
Daryl Johnston and
but yeah, Daryl. So Daryl Johnston, he gave my boy Tim Settle a shout out. I've been on Tim, like I said, I've been waiting for Tim Settle. He came in, he's like, look, he's in here for the injured Matt Ioannidis, who could arguably be one of the best interior guys on this defensive line. He's filling in. John Pierre Lewis or Kevin Pierre Lewis, Kevin Pierre Lewis. He's the guy that's filling in. There's guys that you just are coming from the woodworks, coming out the practice squad, stepping up and filling in that we're not
Cameron
missing.
Curl, Christopher Reeves. The list goes on and on.
Jeremy Reeves.
I always want to call him Superman because he's Superman to me, Christopher Reeves.
Well, hopefully he doesn't end up like him, but yeah, Cameron Curl has been an absolute delight. He is there. There hasn't been, he's one of the better stories of this Washington team where there's just seems like every spot we have a guy where it's like, check out this dude, check out this dude, check out this dude.
Logan Thomas. Logan Thomas. He's catching now it's like I don't even know it's like an old Jimmy Graham. It looks like an old Jimmy Graham.
Prime Jordan Reed. When Jordan Reed was in there and he was kind of the guy, that's what he reminded me of last night was prime Jordan Reed.
Like sticky hands, like everything that one catch he made that got us to the one, not the wide open touchdown, but the one that got us to the one. It looked like it was going to be intercepted or picked. He did it. The concentration and focus he had on that was something that we didn't see from him before.
Not to mention he recovers a fumble, early in the first half, recovers a fumble. He's right there on top of it. This was a complete game. Now, like I said, the first half was a little dicey. It looked like we were playing field position, just punting back and forth, and they get the 30-yard play to James Washington.
I kind of liken that to the fact that we it's like you lose your running back. Now what are you gonna do? It's like trying to redefine your. I'm sure their game plan ran 100 or at least 80% through Antonio Gibson. So I kind of liken that early struggles to trying to figure out what we're gonna do. Now, trying to throw it to Terry wasn't working. So I kind of liken a lot of that to not really us, but just the fact that we lost somebody huge early on in the game. So I think after bringing everybody back together at halftime, and like you said, we have the same thing here. We have a short yardage guy we need if we need to pound it on between the sticks, and we have a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. And not to mention, is Bryce Love, isn't he designated to return too? Could he be popping his head in here pretty soon?
He is designated to return pretty soon. So yeah, that's a possibility if Antonio Gibson isn't a go. Which turf toe you never really know. It's one of those tough things.
Do you know what turf toe is?
Yeah, it's a hyperextension of your ligament in your foot.
I know. Do you remember the first time you ever heard of it? I remember exactly the first person I remember.
Deion Sanders.
Yes, I was gonna say Deion Sanders. So
almost pretty much ended his career. He was on the backside of it anyway, but that really hindered him and kind of forced him out early. earlier.
Of our team, out of our team. He's like, we signed him, and then he didn't play forever. And then it's like turf toe, and I was like, "What the heck? He's got a toe?" Like back then, you heard toe. It's like if you don't have anything broken back in the '90s or the '80s, it's like you better be on the field. Now it's like
they almost. The biggest thing I remember was like them likening it to like jamming your toe. You know, like jamming your fingers. Like, but apparently it's much like than that. And like I said, the severity can be very minimal to very high. So. As a running back, those big toes are pretty important. So yeah, we'll see. And like I said, wait with bated breath. Kind of another funny situation from Ron Rivera's press conference today. A lady asked him a question. So he says, "Hey, how's Antonio Gibson doing? And what are we doing moving forward?" He goes, "Well, I haven't talked to the trainer yet." And he goes, "And I did that on purpose. I never talked to the trainer until after these press conferences. So when you ask me those questions, I just can't answer him because I don't know the answer and I don't want to give you the answer." He said, "So I'm not lying to you when I say I don't know." He said, "I'm literally going to leave here and go talk to the trainer, but I'm not going to give you that information because I don't have it, and that's on purpose." And so I thought that was pretty funny. So we're not going to get word till probably I'm assuming Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see if he practices tomorrow or Thursday. If it gets to Friday and he's not practicing, probably doesn't look too good. But yeah, I mean, you even look at, like I said, James Washington. He had 2 big catches, 30 yards and 50 yards. Deontay Johnson is kind of the one that ate us up the most, and of course Eric Ebron at tight end, which I knew was
those seam routes.
Happen.
Those seam routes. We have such, and I don't know if it's just damaged from getting beat on the outside so many times that they because you can see it and you saw it in Kendall Fuller and you see it in Ronald Darby. You see it in both of them. They're so like prone to get burned on the outside that they almost want to cheat a little bit, and then they leave that seam. Those seam routes wide open each time, and so I mean it's right in that interior. So we definitely got to address that.
For sure, no doubt. But Juju Smith-Schuster has 7 catches, but only for 28 yards. So really, like I said, they're big three. Between Claypool, Schuster, and Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson's really the only one that ate us up. He has 8 for 71 and a tutty. But the fact that we kind of held him in check, I guess. I mean, 71 yards and a touchdown.
Bend not break. Didn't we say bend not break?
Bend don't break. Bend don't break. Yep.
Bend don't break secondary. And I was thinking about that earlier on today. I was like, that's exactly what our secondary did. We gave up a little bit, didn't give up the big plays, and that's what you called for. And we both agreed that was going to be a part of this game plan, was to have that bend, play, against a lot of pressure, play the run well, which Snell had 5 yards, and bend don't break secondary, and that's a recipe for success in this NFL. As long as you don't give up the big play, you can give up between the 20s, play good goal line defense, and you can win in the NFL.
Yeah, look, give me that team that we saw yesterday and put us in the playoffs. We're winning a game. We're winning a playoff game. Bring me Seattle. Bring me San Francisco.
We're getting Seattle. We're getting both of those in the next 2 weeks.
Bring me, yeah. No,
we'll prove it. We're gonna prove it.
Bring me Minnesota. Bring me. I don't care who we play. We see that team tomorrow, see that team that we saw yesterday. That team wins a playoff game, no doubt.
We're not going to see that team that we saw yesterday. We're seeing a better team.
That's fine. That's fine. Let me see. I'm looking up. I'm going to look at the standings right now, and
it's we're within a game of being even a wild card team.
No. Give me Tampa Bay. Tell me we won't beat Tampa Bay. We'll beat Tampa. The Steelers are a better team than Tampa Bay. They can't figure out who they want. They just want to throw deep shots every time, which now, I don't want to get out of hand.
The only 2 teams in the NFC that are clear, I think, above the rest is Green Bay and New Orleans. And I think everybody else is kind of in the mix. Other than you have your Dallases who are going through some things right now. Philadelphia's going through some things right now. Chicago's going through some things. But other than that, everyone's in the mix.
But I'll tell you what, don't look now, but if we both went out, there could be 2 NFC East teams in this playoff.
That's what I'm saying. No. Hey, we said it. Anyone that listens to us, the 3 or 4 people that have been listening to us all year long, know that we said it. We had shout out. We were saying it when they hadn't won a game. When the Giants hadn't won a game, we were saying this is the best team in the NFC East. And you guys are laughing at us right now by saying this, but no, this is the best team in the NFC East. We said it before the week preview of us, losing our first game. If you want to go back and listen to the archives. But so that it's both, and we're clicking. Both of these teams are clicking at the right time, and so that's what it takes to get far in the playoffs. Those 2007 Giants and the 2007, those 2011 Giants will tell you that.
Absolutely, yeah. Just get in. Just get in. You never know what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, a great game. A little bit of game recap there. You should have been watching it. If you weren't watching it, what are you doing? Go back and watch it right now. So we gave you some bits and pieces in the highlights, but really, I mean, you could just feel the energy of what everybody was feeling watching that game yesterday. I mean, any of my friends that are Washington fans. Even people that aren't Washington fans were reaching out to me like, "Hey, nice win. Hey, nice job. Yada yada." So it was huge, and we needed it. It was really big. Yeah, on to San Francisco on Sunday. Actually, we're on to. I believe we play them in Arizona. Is this,
Yeah,
is
in
next week the home
Arizona.
game?
Yeah, Arizona.
So we do play them in Arizona against the 49ers. So we'll be there.
We got to get the backs in that stadium. We got to get the backs in that stadium. We got embarrassed earlier this year. Full circle. Full circle.
Yeah. You're right. So as always, make sure you're subscribed here and got the notification bell rung here on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter at AlliesBEL. Check us out on Facebook, Allies Behind Enemy Lines Podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, review on Apple iTunes, and let's get ready to keep this ball rolling, baby. Play that victory trombone. We're celebrating. It's a little bit. We got a long victory week last week. It's a little bit shorter this week, but hey, guess what? 3 straight weeks of playing that victory trombone. As Antonio Gibson said, 3 straight weeks, baby. 3 straight weeks of it. Yes, sir. Anything else before you get? Going for 4, baby. You got anything else before we head out of here, Joey?
All I got to say is we got to keep this rolling. We got to keep this train going. But time to get back to business. I know big word today with Ron Rivera was humility. Let's keep that. Let's stay grounded. Let's keep going, and let's enjoy this. Let's enjoy the direction our team is going right now.
Absolutely. We big win. 3 big wins in a row, but guess what? We haven't won anything yet. We haven't sealed the deal on anything. So until Friday, we'll have that pregame show with you here on YouTube and on Apple iTunes, getting ready for the 49ers. But until then, enjoy this victory week. Enjoy this. Soak it all in. Listen to those songbirds. Listen, feel that crisp air, all that good stuff. But we appreciate y'all for listening. Take care. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on Friday.